A new study from Wells Fargo Advisors found something that we might already know. If you have money, you probably feel pretty good about your financial security. But there are some challenges facing affluent investors as well. And joining me today is Joe Nadro, Head of Innovation and Strategy for Wells Fargo Advisors. Thanks so much for being here, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
So what are the sort of challenges that you guys are finding that affluent investors are facing?
Well, as you suggested, clearly the affluent have a confidence that they are going to be able to meet their retirement goals. But they have a lot of the same fears and regrets and doubts that the non-affluent have. So the idea of the new market volatility that they're seeing gets them concerned that they're going to have the money when they retire, that they're going to outlive their money. They also have fears of being taken advantage of in their old age, which is kind of a new thing that we're seeing more. Regrets, I think that we all would agree. They wish they made better investments, so do I. They also wish they had saved more, spent less, but we also see the opposite where people are saying that they wish they had spent more and lived their life more, which is interesting.
Now, see, yeah, more money, more problems, right? I mean, that's a good issue to be having, but it is interesting. And so how do you see that the affluent investors that you work with or through this study, what are they telling their kids that's different?
Right. There's good news and bad news. From the good news perspective, 70% of them have taken steps to transfer their wealth upon their death, right? And that's good. But that also means that 30% have not. And when we dove deeper and asked them why that was, many of them said that it was because it was a very difficult conversation, an uncomfortable conversation. But it means that there are still plenty of affluent investors out there whose average worth in the market is $500,000 plus, who have not had conversations about the effective transference of their wealth.
Now, is this just a generational problem in general? Are you seeing with the older affluent investors, are they using technology like the young kids? Maybe everyone's just having a disconnect?
There's definitely been an acceleration of expectation amongst all age groups. So there's, when asked, 4 out of 5, 80% plus said their expectations that they would be able to have 24-hour access digitally to their account detail, which for people who are net savvy, that seems like a motherhood and apple pie, but that number is much higher now than it was 5 or 10 years ago. Where you see the age differential is really with their willingness to do things like video conferencing or use automated investment services, the robo-advisor technology. It still has a long way to go before there's widespread acceptance, but you definitely see a differential between the 30 to 40 set as opposed to the 60 to 70 set.
And you'll be watching this going forward, right? Are there any trends that you see for the future?
Yeah, I do think that we're going to see where there's a complement between an advisor and the technology. I think we tend to want to bifurcate that when we talk about it in the media, to say you're either self-directed and doing everything through technology, or you have an advisor. And the truth is, I think those things are going to kind of come together nicely because I think they complement one another.
That's very interesting. Thanks so much for stopping by today.
Thank you for having me.
For TheStreet, I'm Lauren Lyons Cole in New York.